Close your eyes for a second and just listen to two words: grip, force. Doesn't sound like much, does it? But out there, deep in the wild, that phrase sounds like thunder rolling in right before the storm hits. It sounds like death arriving quietly, then closing the door behind it. You've heard of the almighty lion, the king of the savannah. You've heard of the tiger, the silent orange ghost of the jungle. You know the wolf, the hyena, the crocodile, the terrifying legends of the wild. You know what it costs to earn the heavy title of apex predator. It means nothing else out there gets to mess with you. It means every other set of teeth, claws, and instincts in that entire ecosystem quietly steps aside when you walk through the room. The eagle belongs in that exact same room. And that realization alone should stop you dead in your tracks. Because look at what an eagle actually is: two legs, feathers, wings. On paper, that's literally a chicken. The exact same bird you'll find wandering around a backyard farm. The same bird you could scoop up with your bare hands and have cooked in a pan by dinner. And yet somehow this creature, built on the exact same basic biological blueprint as a domestic chicken, is one of the most ruthless, devastatingly efficient killers the animal kingdom has ever produced. So what on earth happened? What separates a bird that ends up on a dinner plate from a bird that ends empires of smaller creatures the second its shadow hits the grass? The answer isn't hidden in some mystical, exaggerated internet number. Forget every viral claim you've ever seen about an eagle's crushing power hitting 500 mythical pounds per square inch. That fake figure gets thrown around endlessly on social media, and it completely misses the real story. The absolute truth about how an eagle kills is far more terrifying than any made-up statistic could ever capture, because this isn't about raw brute strength. This is about precision biological engineering. Think about how the rest of the animal kingdom gets its kills. A broad-chested guard dog clamps down with enough force to shatter human bone. A wild wolf snaps its jaw shut even harder, using its whole 90-pound body, thick neck muscles, and a heavy skull just to drive those fangs home. Then there's the hyena, the undisputed heavyweight champion of crushing jaws in the mammal world. A hyena doesn't just bite through skin and flesh, it grinds thick bone right into powder. If a hyena ever got its jaws wrapped around a trained, fully armored medieval warrior's wrist, it wouldn't just bruise the arm, it would pulverize the wrist joints and radius bones into a splintered, mangled paste. It is a biological sledgehammer on legs. Now, take all of that raw, bone-shattering crushing power, strip away the massive 90-pound body, remove the heavy mammalian skull, the thick jaw muscles, all of it, and condense that exact same bone-pulverizing capability into a foot that weighs less than a single bag of sugar. That's what an eagle carries at the end of its leg. A weapon so light it shouldn't mathematically be possible, yet so concentrated it rivals, and frequently beats, the localized point-blank trauma of a wolf or even a hyena. If a massive harpy eagle clamped down on a man's forearm or wrist, it wouldn't simply hold him still. It would drive straight through leather, punch through skin, and crack the delicate structural joints of the wrist into near-powdered splinters. Here's the master secret nobody talks about. Force and pressure are not the same thing. Press your flat palm against a solid table with all your strength, and all you feel is a dull, harmless push. Take that exact same amount of force and put it on the microscopic tip of a sharp sewing needle instead, and suddenly you're punching a hole right through human skin. Nothing about the raw energy changed. Only the contact area receiving that energy changed. Because pressure is force divided by area, shrinking the surface area turns a harmless push into a lethal penetration point. That is the precise secret behind the eagle's foot. An eagle's foot isn't just 4 bird toes with nails glued on. It's a biological vice built with brutal intention. 3 curved toes reach forward. But the real monster of the entire system sits at the back, the hallux. The hallux is a massive rear-facing talon that functions like an opposing biological thumb working directly against the front digits. When the foot snaps closed around a target, the prey is trapped in a mechanical crossfire. The curved front talons lock the body in place, while that massive hallux is driven straight into the center of mass like a steel spike. It isn't decoration. It's an anchor pin built to punch through vital organs, collapse lung cavities, and cause instant structural shutdown. And where does all that raw energy even come from, considering the talon itself has no muscle inside it? The talons are pure keratin wrapped around solid bone, the exact same material as your fingernails. The real engine powering the squeeze sits much higher up the leg. Buried deep in the eagle's thigh and lower leg are heavily developed flexor muscles, specifically the flexor digitorum longus and the flexor hallucis longus. These massive muscular units contract, yanking thick steel-like tendons that run all the way down the ankle and straight into the toes. The moment those leg muscles fire, tension snaps downward like a high-tension cable on an aircraft carrier. The toes clamp shut, and every single ounce of that force gets funneled straight into talon tips thinner than a pencil lead. While a leopard uses raw jaw strength to slowly suffocate its prey over several agonizing minutes, an eagle uses instantaneous point pressure to collapse a lung and sever major blood vessels within seconds of impact. It doesn't wrestle its prey into submission. It shuts the body down like flipping a light switch. But here's where it gets even more insane. Grabbing a thrashing, panic-stricken target with that much force for even a few seconds should exhaust any muscle on the planet. Lactic acid buildup alone should force the foot to burn out and release its grip. So nature engineered something extraordinary to solve that exact problem: the tendon locking mechanism. Running along the inside of the eagle's flexor tendons are microscopic interlocking ridges, a biological ratchet system. As the tendon pulls tight and the toes curl inward, these tiny ridges slide past corresponding grooves inside the tendon sheath. Once that ratchet locks into place, the foot stays clamped shut passively. The eagle does not need to continuously flex its leg muscles to maintain that bone-crushing grip. The frantic struggling of the prey and the sheer physical weight of the bird actually help hold the ratchet tightly engaged. It is a biological padlock, and once those feet snap shut, prying that grip open from the outside is virtually impossible without physically breaking the bird's leg. Now picture a venomous snake, one of the most feared creatures on the planet, armed with needle fangs, lethal venom, lightning-fast muscles, and the terrifying patience of an ambush predator. On the ground, facing almost anything else, a snake has every possible advantage. But an eagle doesn't fight a snake on the ground. It comes dropping straight from the clouds, talons extended, and the split second that grip closes around the snake's body, the fight is already over. The snake can twist, thrash, and attempt to strike all it wants, but venom means absolutely nothing once its vital organs are already collapsing under pinpoint pressure. The very same ratchet system that allows the eagle to hold on without muscular fatigue is the exact reason a snake's raw aggression counts for zero in that final moment. Even in eagle versus eagle combat, this ultimate weapon defines everything. When two golden eagles fight for dominance over hunting territory, they don't battle with their beaks. They soar thousands of feet into the air, turn completely upside down in mid-flight, and throw their legs toward the sky, locking talons together in a terrifying spectacle known as talon locking. Because the tendon ratchet snaps locked instantly, the two apex predators become physically fused together in the open sky. They stop flying. They begin to fall. Spiraling out of the clouds in a gravity-defying freefall, the two eagles tumble thousands of feet toward the jagged rocks below, locked together in a high-stakes game of aerial chicken. Neither bird wants to release its grip first, because releasing means giving up positioning to a weapon that can crush a skull. They break apart only seconds before slamming into the earth, disengaging the ratchet, snapping their massive wings open, and pulling out of the dive at the very last breath. And this isn't only used for war. Bald eagles perform a similar cartwheeling talon lock during high-speed courtship displays, testing a potential mate's nerve, strength, and timing before ever committing to a life together. Whether in love or in battle, the foot is the ultimate test of an eagle's power. So when you strip away the social media myths and the exaggerated viral numbers, you find something far grander underneath. Heavy flexor muscles built like industrial cables, a passive locking mechanism that never suffers from muscular fatigue, an opposing hallux acting as a deep penetrating anchor clamp, and needlepoint talons narrow enough to convert modest energy into unstoppable bone-crushing pressure. This is not a predator relying on massive size the way a lion relies on weight, or brute jaw strength the way a hyena does. This is precision. This is efficiency taken to its absolute biological limit. So the next time you see an eagle drifting lazily on a warm afternoon thermal, don't just admire the majestic wingspan. Look down at those yellow feet folded quietly against its body. Underneath those feathers sits one of the most perfectly engineered weapons millions of years of evolution have ever crafted. A biological vice designed not just to strike, but to hold. And once it closes, almost nothing that feels its grip ever walks away again.